Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the leadership team here at SLUH Hospital, I'm Kelly Baumer. I'm the Chief Operating Officer, and it's just a privilege to welcome Mark back as a vital part of this Organ Trail initiative. Mark's dedication and passion for promoting organ donation awareness inspires us all, and we are deeply grateful for his commitment to this cause. His efforts are making a lasting impact, helping us to bring hope and new life to countless individuals. I also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the transplant families, our patients, and our remarkable team here at SLUH. Your courage, strength, and support drive our mission forward every day. Together, we are building a stronger community and creating opportunities for second chances. Thank you for everything you do.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Justin. I'm one of the chaplains here at St. Louis University Hospital. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm going to open us up with a short reflection. This reflection comes from a book by Stephen Charleston. He is a Native American elder as well as an Episcopal bishop, and he wrote this devotional. I think it's really a fitting some fitting words for today's occasion. So I just would invite you to reflect on these words that reminded me of the love that we need to wait for, and we need to hold in front of those who are really waiting for organ donation. So here we go. Until the light returns. If this is a difficult time for you or for someone you know, let me speak a clear word straight to your heart. There is no trouble stronger than the love of the Spirit. There is no illness, no broken relationship, no financial setback, no personal hurt that the love of the Spirit cannot heal. Not even death can overcome it. That is love for you. It may come to you as you hear these words, or it may take more time, but it will, in fact, come to you. The assurance, the comfort, the renewal of a love that will embrace you and hold you and abide with you until the light returns and departs no more. And so that's my prayer, that we would be the bearers of light, the bearers of hope for those that are waiting for living organ donation.
Thank you so much, Justin. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us for this very special event. And I'm honored to share a welcome on behalf of the Living Donor Transplant Program. The work that we do in the Living Donor Transplant Program is only possible because of the efforts of a diverse, dedicated, and deeply committed team. We recently gathered here in April for our Donate Life event, where we had the opportunity to recognize and thank the many individuals whose work makes this mission possible. And rather than repeat those acknowledgments today, I simply want to emphasize how invaluable our team is to everything that we do. Every nurse, surgeon, social worker, administrator, donor advocate, researcher, HLA lab, and quality team member plays a role in changing lives. And what we accomplish through donation and transplantation is never the work of one person. It is a result of collaboration, compassion, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to our patients and families. But most importantly, today is about donors and patients, their experiences, their resilience, and the lives forever impacted through living donation. Their stories remind us why this work matters and why we continue striving to provide hope and healing to so many. And so it is truly an honor to introduce one of our living donors and today's speaker, Mr. Scott Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman is someone whose life reflects a deep commitment to family, faith, service, and community. This June, Scott and his wife, Jennifer, will celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. Together, they have built a beautiful family with 4 sons, including 2 stepsons, and they are now preparing for another joyful chapter as Scott and Jennifer become the grandfather to their 6th grandchild. Scott's commitment to serving others extends far beyond family life. He is actively involved in church, serving on the student ministry team and as a deacon. And in fact, this June, he will embark on his 2nd overseas mission trip to Guatemala, continuing his dedication to helping others both locally and globally. He's even been working on his Spanish to prepare for the trip, or as they say in Guatemala, poco a poco se llega lejos, meaning little by little you go far. Scott has also demonstrated a lifelong commitment to giving through healthcare and community service. He's been a blood donor for more than 40 years, a remarkable testament to generosity and compassion. And for those who know him personally, you know Scott's passion for fitness and encouragement. As an avid runner, he will soon be leading his 4th Run for God training program, inspiring others to pursue both physical and spiritual growth. So today, Scott brings not only his experiences, but also his perspective, gratitude, and personal journey, one that I know will inspire all of us here. So please join me in warmly welcoming living donor, athlete, advocate, and guest speaker before we honor Mark, Mr. Scott Kaufman.
I didn't realize I was all of that. Thank you. Good afternoon, and Dr. Lentine, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to share a few words about my journey as someone who saved a life by donating one of my kidneys. I'd first like to thank the entire staff at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital. On each visit, I was welcomed with care, respect, professionalism, and love. To Dr. Baumer and his staff who performed my kidney transplant surgery, I don't think he is here, but if you see him, let him know that my Speedo scar looks great. Dr. Lentine, you have treated me with compassion, dignity, always providing clear and honest expectations, which makes it so easy to trust you. My transplant coordinator, Cody Wooley, from the first day that we met, you brought a spirit of joy with you. You said realistic and hard truths about being a living donor. Never once did you sway from having my best interest in mind, including that last second COVID test a few hours before my surgery. SSM Health, St. Louis University Hospital, you have a wonderful and a world-class RN walking your hallways. Don't lose sight of that. And I would be highly mistaken and slightly in trouble if I didn't thank my best friend forever twice, my beautiful wife, Jennifer. This was not an easy process for you. Your fears and doubts, being completely transparent about how your husband could physically help someone else, but not help you when you needed it during that time. Please know that I heard you and you're very much understood. I love you so much. Thank you. My kidney donation story began actually in 2006. A member of our church was in need of a kidney, and I had stepped up to help, but was found not to be a match. A kidney, though, was found and donated to her, and she went on to live another 15 years. Praise God for that. Fast forward to August 2023. At the beginning of that Sunday's church service, it was brought up that a friend of mine who had been on dialysis for 2 years was in dire need of a kidney. Now, for 17 years, being a kidney donor was not on my radar. Something changed, though, when it was stated that for donor needed an O-positive blood type. As Dr. Lentine mentioned, I've been donating blood for over 40 years, and that's me. It was then that I heard God tell me, go. And I said back to God, I can't go. I'm training for a marathon. How can I donate a kidney and train for a marathon at the same time? So this conversation with the creator of the universe went on for most of the service, until some point during that service, a peace that surpasses all understanding came over me. And that next Monday, I applied to see if I was a match. Over the next 5 months, I had numerous blood tests, COVID tests, a carotid artery test, a colonoscopy, stress test, 24-hour urinalysis test, 2 24-hour blood pressure monitoring tests, meetings with a nutritionist, social worker, and a chaplain here with SSM SLUH Hospital. And Cody, when I was looking back, I remember there was some kind of nuclear blood test or something like 10 days before. So even 10 days prior, we didn't know for sure. But we found out, in fact, I was a match, 100% healthy enough to donate my kidney. On January 17th, 2024, a successful kidney transplant surgery took place. And as I stated, the surgery, there was a last-minute COVID test, so it was delayed again another 2.5 hours. It has been 28 months since the transplant, and during that time, I've completed a few 5K races, a half marathon. I will soon be training for another marathon, and I also continue to donate whole blood and double red blood cells 3 times a year. The highlight of my post-kidney donation, though, was leading my 3rd Run for God 5K challenge. Our team competed in the Mid-America Transplant 5K. I finished 2nd place in my age group. However, the biggest thrill was seeing the recipient cross the finish line 9 months after receiving his new kidney. My story, though, doesn't end at the finish line of that 5K race. So remember, I had this conversation with God in church about how I can't donate a kidney and train for marathon at the same time. So during a training run in October of that year, a soreness in my hip reared its ugly head. I continued running for another few weeks, making some adjustments in my training program, more cycling than running. The soreness, though, continued, and the pain became too much to bear. An MRI showed that I had torn a hip labrum. 2 weeks before the race, I reluctantly withdrew from the marathon. As I pondered these events, I noticed that it was 2.5 months after I committed to donate my kidney, which left me with 2.5 months to rest before a major surgery. I believe God honored my commitment with 2.5 months for the desire of my heart to continue running, which more importantly prepared me 2.5 months to save a life. I want to add that the recipient of my kidney is also the uncle of 2 of my stepsons. God did not want my kidney in 2006. He needed it 17 years later. The journey to becoming a living donor, it takes many paths. However, there are some truths no matter what path you are given. First, you get to save a life, and that's real cool. Second, your life can and does stay the same. Ask any living donor, like Mark, will attest to that. Life after donating a kidney is simply wonderful. If you've never considered donating a kidney, please do so. In closing, God gave you 2 kidneys. If possible, share one, because sharing is caring. Thank you, and may God bless you.
One of our gifts to you. This is a Blues Donate the Life hat. It was given by one of our patients. So.
Go Blues, honey. She does not like the St. Louis Blues.
All right, we now want to invite Nurse Cody Wooley to give the introduction of our guest of honor, Mr. Mark Scotch.
Good afternoon. We're so excited to have 2, we thought Lynn might be joining us. So we're so excited to have Mark Scotch here. His wife also donated a kidney very generously. And Mark is one of those people that you just don't meet every day. He's a living kidney and a living liver donor. One up you, Scott. And his friends like to jokingly call him a freak of nature because he has incredible energy and generosity. His journey into donation started with a chance meeting with someone on dialysis at a bar. And he said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to dialysis." And he's like, "We can't have that." So he is making a difference in the world, taking his impact even further by biking across the country and stopping at transplant centers along the way, sharing his story and showing people that life after donation can be active and healthy and full. And more importantly, they're spreading the message that patients on dialysis should have hope, because there is a solution to their problem if more people step forward to become living donors or spread the word that this is something that you can do, because not everybody is aware of this situation. So today we're very honored to welcome him here to SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital. Please join me in welcoming Mark Scotch and supporting him on his incredible journey to save more lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Cody.
My pleasure.
I was standing in the back because I've been sitting on that bike for 2 weeks now. So thanks so much for repeating. This was 5 years ago. Did I turn it off accidentally?
Okay.
5 years ago, I brought my bike down the steps. My buddy Greg back there, who rode with me the last couple of days, thought we should ride him down. But 5 years ago, I walked it down. And I want to introduce my buddy Greg Bean. He lives in St. Louis. We knew each other up in Madison. We both lived in Madison, Wisconsin for a while. And my other friend, Bill Kelly, he's been canoeing with him for about 30 years up in Wisconsin. He's driving my sport vehicle from Denver. Well, he's doing a part of it. He took over just out of Kansas City, and he'll give it up to my sister and her husband a couple days from now. So I got some notes. I'm not going to rush. Cody must have been reading my website because she covered pretty much everything. Thank you to Krista. She, as soon as I sent an email out a few months ago, she goes, "Oh yes, let's do something again." So thank you so much, Cody, Jenny, are you there? Okay, and Kelly. Okay, got you all up here, and everyone at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital, SLUH. Thanks for hosting me again. This trip is going to be about 1,900 miles from Denver to Wisconsin, and I'll get into that, why I do that, and why I picked those two towns. Basically, it's to create awareness. We, like Cody said, my wife and I retired a number of years ago. We're on our way to Texas from Wisconsin. Just stopped into a microbrewery, like a lot of us do, for the night, and met a guy at the bar, started talking to him. He got up to leave, and I said, "Where are you going?" It's still early, you know. I tried to get him to have dinner with us, and he was like, "No, I gotta go." But he wasn't going. He was just standing there telling me he had to go. And I know that sometimes when you meet people, their actions tell you more than their words do. And I said, "Well, okay," and I don't want to press him too hard, but I just met the guy. But I said, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm sure." He said, "I have to go home and go on dialysis." He was doing peritoneal dialysis every night for 10 hours. And then he was also working. He was lucky he did not have end-stage renal disease. He had taken too many ibuprofens as a jockey in his younger years and ruined his own kidneys. So he was on dialysis for 10 hours a night. I think he'd been on about 18 months about that time. He was in his mid-50s. And he just said, "Yeah, my kidneys failed. I'm on dialysis, kind of looking for a kidney." And as fast as he could say that, I answered, "I'll give you one of mine," because my mind just flashed. My sister-in-law had donated a kidney to one of her high school friends 12 years previous to meeting this guy, and she seemed to be doing fine. And my wife and I had lost our first son many, many years ago at 15 months old, and we always regretted that we didn't donate his organs. At the time, it was in the mid to late 70s. But anyway, those two thoughts flashed through my mind within just a lightning flash. And as soon as he said, "I am looking for a kidney," I just said, "Heck, I'll give you one of mine." Just retired, figured, I didn't know anything about donation. Even though my sister-in-law had donated, I'd never asked her one question. She didn't talk about it because she thought it was like self-promoting. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this ride and doing what we're doing, because we got to talk about it. Hugh Smith, the guy that met in the bar, he almost turned around and walked away and left. If he would have did that, I wouldn't be here right now. So part of the reason why I do what I do is so we all talk about it. people can't help you if you don't let them know you need help, just like you found out in your church. So that's part of the reason why I do the ride. The other part is just to demonstrate that, hey, you can donate a kidney, live a completely normal life, just what I'm doing. You can ride your bike 10,000 miles, and just keep going, right? So, so the joke is two guys go into a bar, one guy comes out without a kidney. I've spoken to some high school groups and colleges, and I say, be careful when you go into a bar. You never know what will happen. So when I started to learn how to become a donor, I just went online, and I wasn't thinking about the Oregon Trail. I was just thinking, how do I do this? I talked to his donor or his coordinator the very next day. She said, well, you got to come down here and get tested. Louisiana, Shreveport. From Wisconsin, that's a long way. And I started thinking about that. And I thought, well, like most guys that ride bike a lot, it's like, how can I turn this into a bike ride? So I thought, well, I'll be coming down there a lot, she said, to get tested, come there early for surgery, stay afterwards. I thought, well, I'm going to ride my bike down the Mississippi River and donate a kidney. Well, that was fine until I read that 25 people, well, at the time it was 13, but I call it 25. People die every day waiting for a kidney transplant. 13 are active on the wait list, and you can correct me. 12 to 13 active every day die, and there's probably 12 or 13 that die because they're kicked off the wait list. They're not healthy enough to go through their surgery anymore. So you're talking like 25 people a day, and I thought, oh my God, how come I didn't know this? I asked my wife, she's a lot smarter than me, so she didn't know it either, so I was feeling pretty good about that. But I decided to turn the ride into an awareness ride, and that's where the Oregon Trail started. A friend of mine and mountain biker in Kansas City came up with the name. I didn't even come up with the name, to be quite honest. So that's the two things. We create awareness and we demonstrate that, hey, you can donate a kidney, live a completely normal life. The evaluation process is so thorough and so good, they're not going to let anybody donate a kidney that cannot live with one kidney a normal life. And that's really reassuring to know. So that's a real tribute to all the transplant centers across the United States. Not everyone can be a living kidney donor, true, but everybody can learn more about donation, and I tell that to everybody. You just learn something about it. You may be in a conversation someday. You might be able to help somebody that does want to donate or looking for a donor. So I think this message is valid for everybody, and we can help so many people through the process. So my wife went with me in the summer of 2020 when I was doing my evaluation. Let me step back a little bit. I thought I had to go to Shreveport for this, and then so I was talking to them about that. I learned about the 25 people dying every day, turning that bike ride into an awareness ride. So I, just sent an email out to the National Kidney Registry thinking, I don't know, I want to create awareness. How do I do this? Can you guys help me? They forwarded it on to an organization called the National Kidney Donation Organization, and they help people that, it's a mentoring program. It's a mentoring organization. And a guy called me up named Ned Brooks, and he told me, what do you want to do? So I told him, he goes, you don't have to do that. You can donate your kidney in Madison using this voucher program, they called it. And it's like, wow, that took a huge weight off my shoulders, because I told my wife, the only time I thought to myself, is this a good idea, was when the coordinator in Shreveport said that I had to go back there if there was any complications. So I told my wife, I said, there's a possibility we could be living in Louisiana for a while if something goes wrong. And that's like, I kind of stepped back a little bit. But once I learned I could do it in Madison, and I learned that Hugh and I, the possibility of him being a match with me was slim to none. The NKR found a match for my kidney, went to New York, and Hugh Smith got a kidney from Southern California. So if you look at the map, a guy from Wisconsin meets a guy in Louisiana, one kidney goes to New York, one kidney comes from Southern California. That's the route of the Oregon Trail. I ride the route of the kidneys.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then when my wife donated, well, when my wife was with me on the evaluation process, I I was going through my last tests of the day down in Madison, and she sat there and heard everything I had heard, asked questions, got all the answers she wanted to hear from a caregiver side. It just kind of came to her, it's like, how come I'm not looking into this too? So I donated strictly on emotion. She donated strictly on information. So that was pretty interesting. We kind of covered the whole span of it. But Lynn and I both feel that this problem is solvable. And after 5 years, it's been a tough ride, so to speak. But I still think it is. We still think it is. It's just enough people learn about it. People ask me why I ride. I ride to create awareness, obviously. It's simple. Organ donation works. You can ask any recipient of an organ. If you help save one life, it's worth it as far as I'm concerned. So people ask about the liver thing. So one of my rides from Southern California to Louisiana, we did an event just like this at Keck University, or USC Keck. And they were talking to the living kidney donor kidney coordinator that rode with me that day. We rode from Santa Monica, which is on the ocean, to the Keck campus, and they were talking to him, and I was just sitting on the side talking to a nurse was standing there. I started talking to her. I had looked into liver donation in Madison, but they told me the age of 60 years, there was a cutoff. And I thought that was kind of a national thing, so I never even gave it second thought until I was at Keck, and the nurse said, well, we've taken people, about your age, and I was 66 at the time. It's like, oh, I thought I was off the hook, But so I had to go do what I tell everybody to do. Just go get evaluated. You don't know if you can be a donor until you get evaluated. There's no sense in worrying about it, thinking, oh, should I or shouldn't I? Just go get evaluated. So I went out to Keck, got evaluated, got all done, just about done, talking to the coordinator before I left, and the doctor came in and sat down, was talking to me. He had been there when I came through on my bicycle, and asking about the Oregon Trail. I was like, let's talk about this liver thing. Because he was leading up to something. He goes, I hope you enjoy doing it, because that's what you're going to have to keep doing, because we can't use your liver. And of course, my eyes must have got big. Coming from Wisconsin, I don't know why anyone would suspect my liver isn't top shelf. Get the pun there. He said there's nothing wrong with your liver. It's just the way it's structured. We can't take part of it and give to another adult and leave you with enough. And he was trying to explain it all. It's like, okay. So he left. My coordinator left. I'm standing there. Well, I tried. Like, someone's going to die today. Or tomorrow or whenever. Because I can't donate. Within a few minutes, another doctor came flying in. And he goes, wait. He said, you can donate. By that time, the coordinator had come back too, and we both kind of looked at each other. It's like, well, that's not what the other guy said. He said, well, he works with adult transplantation. He said, I do pediatric. We can take part of your left lateral segment and give it to an infant. So a sliver of my liver went into a 9-month-old little girl. And she's almost 4 right now, and she's doing great. So that's the liver story. I don't know if there's anything else I want to add. Let me go through my notes here real quick. One thing I want to emphasize is the great work that everyone here at SLUH is doing. I always say to everybody, without you folks, there wouldn't be any transplants. Organ transplant isn't possible without the amazing staffs all across the country. Without your expertise, care, compassion, dedication, so many people's lives wouldn't be saved. And that's so true. You all here witness the amazing highs and the devastating lows of transplantation, but without you, it wouldn't work. So I just want to end with that, I think. Thank you for having me again, and for meeting Scott and Jennifer. That's great. And that's it. Unless you have any questions.
This is from our Blues Transplant Awareness Night. Yeah. And then Kelly has a gift for you as well.
In the middle.
We have a medal made for you, and it says Organ Donation Advocate Award on behalf of St. Louis University Hospital 2026.
Oh, wow.
So,
I feel like the character on The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, yeah, let's get a photo here. It's got, let's get one more. We've got one more with his hat. Okay. Thank you for the hat. It's like this.
Rookie, he's a rookie.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Can we get transplant team up here too? Transplant professionals, Holly